Hello, my name is Mark Maeda, and along with Tanner Plum and Ben Perez, we are Group 7, and we did our presentation on partition testing. Elaine J. Wayuker says, the term partition testing, in its broadest sense, refers to a very general family of testing strategies. Their primary characteristic is that the program's input domain is divided into subsets, with a tester selecting one or more element from each subdomain. In English, this means that partition testing is the process of dividing the possible user input into subgroups based on their properties, and then performing quality assurance by testing at least one input from each group. To do this, you first begin by considering the type of input that you are expecting from the user, whether that be a string, a bool, an int, a float, or maybe even just a character. Next, you need to consider all of the different ways that the user might input that information. For example, this might be inputs of positive numbers, negative numbers, or zeros. You also need to be sure to take invalid inputs into consideration. For instance, if you're asking the user for a measurement of distance, be sure to take negative distances, which don't exist, and words into consideration. Next, you categorize each way the user might input that information and come up with one or two tests for each category. Finally, test the program by inputting each of your test cases into the program and compare the results against what you're expecting the program to do. Here's a somewhat satirical example of the partition testing process. A quality engineer walks into a bar, orders a beer, orders 0 beers, orders 999999999 beers, orders a lizard, orders -1 beers, orders some gibberish. The first real customer walks into a bar and asks where the bathroom is. The bar bursts into flames, killing everyone. So now I realize that this is a joke and this is a tweet and not official whatsoever, but this is actually a very good example of partition testing. The quality engineer was checking to see if the function to order a beer worked properly. In order to do that, he tested two positive inputs with 1 and 9999999 beers. He checked to see what the 0 case would be when he checks to see if he orders 0 beers. And he even checked one negative number beer by ordering -1 beers. He even checked two non-beer requests. However, he failed to take into consideration requests that weren't orders, and that caused the bar to burst into flames and kill everyone.
The advantages to partition testing include reducing redundancy, requiring less effort, and yielding good results in a small time frame. Let's take that example of the QA in a bar. Instead of accounting for ordering one drink, two drinks, three drinks, four drinks individually, and so on, we can instead account for any drinks greater than 0 and give the same result. If the result is 0, we know how to handle that. We also account for random words like dolphin, and we know how to handle those. The disadvantages include assuming data is processed in the class similar to the system. They are more geared towards similar inputs and outputs, and the less amount of test cases results in an increased effort to group them together. Back to the example given for the QA in a bar, asking where the bathroom is should actually be valid input, but we didn't have a convenient method of testing to find that specific phrase out. For using partition testing, one of the best cases of use seem to be when it comes to simple inputs, such as numbers for quantity. For example, if we know exactly what kind of soda you're trying to purchase, and we're just trying to determine how many bottles you want. Another example would be a dollar amount to withdraw from an ATM. A third example could be food, such as McDonald's. We all love those large fries, so the person at the counter is going to ask, how many orders of a large fry would you like? For each of these, we are expecting strictly a number input or response. If the input is less than or equal to 0, we can respond with a specific output regarding the requirement of 1 or more. If the input is greater than 0, we can respond with a specific output regarding the input you just gave. If the input is not a number, we can respond with a specific output regarding what is considered valid input. But down to the disadvantage again of these examples would be you asking a question about the soda. While it might be valid input, we are not actually taking it into account. So strict, simple inputs are generally when you want to be aiming to try and use partition testing.
This has been our presentation on partition testing. Thank you for watching.